Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We ain't linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going out tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going out tonight. Yeah, right. It's going out tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going out tonight. Yeah, right.
Hi, it's Gloria Mayfield Banks. I'm calling for We Got Issues. Thank you.
Okay. It is going down right here with the force of friendship. Give it up. Today is Winning Wednesday. We got issues. We got issues, all. We got issues. It is your girl, Caterina Harris Earl, coming to you from sunny and not so smoky. Sunny and not so smoky. Brentwood, California. So grateful for another beautiful day. So many issues, so many things to pray for. But you know what? God blessed us with another day. And I'm excited to be on We Got Issues, 9:10 a.m. WFDF, the Superstation, coming out of Detroit and broadcasting all over the world. We are keeping it powerful, positive, not Pollyanna. And I promise you today, because I got my college girlfriend on, it will be a little messy, a little classy, a little funny, a little flighty, a little bit. We are all those things. I mean, I'm telling you, these girlfriends right here are all these things. We are so excited to be here. I'm excited to be here with my girlfriend, Sabrina Goodwin Monday. For those of you on the radio, you can't see, but everybody looking fly today. Okay, everybody get their hair did, nails did, everything did today. So we are going today. Sabrina Goodwin Monday is here. Gloria is here. Looks like you are back at home, and Crisette is here. So let's just go to Gloria because a little bit of feedback here. We're going to fix that. Thank you, Michael. We are going. Gloria is back in Maryland, but she was in Beverly Hills yesterday with all them Teslas and Christian Louboutin.
Oh my
Gloria,
goodness,
Callie. And
Callie
was it? How was it?
I'm telling you,
we can't hear you.
Callie,
we got you now.
Okay, Callie was fabulous. And I'm gonna tell you something. I was close to like, I'm not getting on that plane. I'm not going. And I was talking to somebody earlier. I said, you know, the pleasure is in the push. It's in the push. So I pushed forward, and it was a great trip. It was a photo shoot with this tremendous celebrity photographer. So I can't wait to see those pictures. I mean, he does Halle Berry all the time. He does Martha Stewart all the time. He does Snoop Dogg all the time. I was like, wow. Yeah, I was like, no way. And I was saw some of his photography. So it's very exciting. Very exciting. He flew out there from New Jersey. Then I didn't even know I was going to be on Rodeo Drive. Katrina, you didn't tell me how fabulous Rodeo Drive is. And I've been there before, but you know, if you don't go all the time, oh my gosh, you guys, the Louis Vuitton store is like mirrors on top of mirrors on top of mirrors. I mean, I just couldn't lie. And I was walking through there and I was like, this is like Estonia. And it was, and then had dinner at the Beverly Hills, Wilshire, where Pretty Woman, the movie was made. So you know me, I lose all cool. I'm never like after custom. I'm like, oh, Pretty Woman was over there. I love that movie anyway, so I watched it a zillion times. So it was just fun. The weather was beautiful. I thought coming back on a red eye that I was going to be completely exhausted, and I was completely energized. I slept the whole way. I haven't done a red eye in a long time, but it was nice to go to bed when you would be sleepy and wake up when you would be anyway. So it was a great trip. Great, fast, but great.
And go and tell him that your girlfriend called
Don't
her
tell her,
Katrina.
Katrina.
And I said, "Can you open up your boutique for my girlfriend?" Okay. They said, I don't know. Is it gonna be worth it? I said, I promise you, it'll be worth it. I promise you. Open up the boutique for this girlfriend.
I wasn't gonna tell him. I wasn't gonna tell him, y'all. I was there on this street. All by myself, 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, okay, Katrina said she's gonna come. That lady came, y'all. I have never bought so much, so fast. It was like I bought everything that I would have bought in the pandemic in one stop. I was running up and down the aisle.
Wow.
I was standing there. She locked all the doors. I'm standing there in my bra and panties. I'm yanking this off and putting this on. And yanking. They saw everything. When I tell you everything, I was like, yes, no. And then she said, can we pack it up so you can take it home? I was like, oh no, I didn't bring that much luggage. I never traveled with that much luggage. You definitely have. And look, Chris, it took me back that time we were in Italy and went shopping. And I put all the clothes like, no.
And she wouldn't give you a discount. You guys, when I tell you, we spent at least 2 hours in Italy at one of the most fabulous stores. The clothes were just literally, water was coming out of my mouth. I was salivating. These clothes were gorgeous. And Gloria, we were picking out all this stuff. She had 101 items and asked the lady for a discount. And the lady would not budge. And Gloria looked at me and she said, let's go. I was like, let's go? She said, let's go. I was like, all righty then. Okay.
Not doing it. Yeah, and I got a great discount yesterday, and I'm gonna tell everybody about it. It was fabulous. Bella, California. It was a good old time. I had a great time. Bella, California, and Los Angeles, California. Absolutely.
Crisette, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Gloria, I just want you to know you lived one of my dreams. The store is completely closed to everybody. I'm the only one in there, and I can go and shop. And I'm like, and then you wake up.
Oh, they were
like,
telling me about
you are in your bed,
and they were telling about J-Lo. They were talking about all these headliners that go in there and shop. That made me want to buy some more. I said, did J-Lo try that dress on? Did she try that? How tall is Vivica Fox? She got a booty. I want that kind of booty that Vivica Fox had. Girl, we had a blast up in there. It was crazy. Chris, I was living your best life.
Wow. Well, all I got to say is, Katrina, I don't know when I'm coming to California, but I want you to make that same phone call that you made for Gloria, okay?
Because we know you can shop. I'm going to be like, this one you thought Gloria was back?
I was the warm up.
I ain't seen nothing till you shop with Crisette. Okay.
Well, it is absolutely drop dead gorgeous day here in the D, and I am just excited to be here. So excited that Gloria is back with us. It's so funny, you guys. You know, last week we had 2 days off because we had conferences to go to, and one of our faithful viewers that's always on, she literally text Kier and said, what happened? Are they coming back? Please tell me that it hasn't broken up already. I mean,
it was a
Wendy
rerun.
Poole. I'm calling her out. Wendy Poole. She was really, kind of having a come apart. She thought, what happened? I was like, calm down. We're back. We are back. And so we're excited to be back. And we feel so good that we were missed. And so I'm excited about this topic on today. And I'm going to throw it over to my girlfriend, Sabrina Goodwin Monday. And well, she is in Chapel Hill, but she's packing to go to Ohio.
She ain't packed. You know she ain't packed. She ain't packed. No.
Well, a little bit. For the first time 2 days ago, Quincy, we take him back to school. You guys know he's going to be a junior at Princeton. And so I said, you either take it to Princeton or throw it away because I'm not taking it to Ohio, okay? And so it's a different kind of situation when you got kids going back to college. And he's like, man, I'm not coming back to this house. I said, no, you're not. And so that is the reality check. And I'm certain, he had stuff from high school. It's like, no, let's throw it away, give it away. But this is it, buddy. You're either going to take it with you to
Sabrina. Dang.
No, I'm not doing it. And so 2 days ago, I finally kind of got into the groove of throwing away, giving it away, keep it. That's the system. Throwing it away, giving it away, keep it. So I'm kind of getting in the mood of it all. It is bittersweet, but we will be out of here in a couple of weeks. So that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is.
That's deep.
No
That's
emotions.
deep.
You can't be emotional about this thing. You know, the way we move, you just cannot be emotional. It is what it is. The movers are coming. Kenny's like, well, we got this quote. If we pack, I'm like, I ain't packing nothing. Okay. They gonna pack it all. So just add it to the bottom line. I'm not.
Add it to the bottom line. Now,
You put your
know,
foot down.
that's
You
on a
put your
t-shirt.
foot down.
Yeah, that goes on a t-shirt, y'all. Add it to the bottom line. Add it. That's
Wait.
Add it to the bottom line.
Okay, hold on, girlfriends. Okay, yesterday Sabrina hosted the show, keeping it hot and spicy, and we gave our tribe a challenge. We gave them a challenge, and we took the challenge. So come on with it. What did you do, Sabrina?
Well, I didn't do what our girl told us to do, open the door butt naked, okay, before dinner. I didn't do that one.
Oh, gosh. Anthony was like, I'm going to the front door, and I want to see you standing there. I was like, brother, OMG. Oh,
girl, that show was hot.
Did you put your wings on? That's what I want to know. Did you put the wings on?
I didn't put the wings on yesterday, but I did a couple
I
of
missed
special
the show.
things.
Obviously, I missed a show yesterday. Dang.
Gloria,
for
the
real.
show yesterday was hot. Hot.
Michael got the applause. Oh man, I'm hot thinking about it.
Man.
Well, I just want you
about
to
it.
know I did do my assignment. I sent a text message for his eyes only. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, go on, Chris.
And then look, and then she had to go get her hair done. And then she had to go get her hair done.
Don't play.
She left looking like his wife and came back looking like the girlfriend. There you go. New hair, baby, new hair. Oh my goodness, yesterday's show was hot. So for those of you that are listening on the radio, you can go to the Force of Friendship YouTube channel and you can see all our shows, or they're on our Facebook channel. It might be worth listening to that. So today we are talking after that show yesterday. Today we come back, okay, to Caterina. Get excited. We are going to talk a little bit about this because when you have elderly parents in your house, how do you keep it hot in there? We will bring that up. But here we go. It's going to be hard to read this. Two social workers, y'all, named Dorothy Miller and Elaine Brody are who coined this term, originally called the sandwich generation, way back in 1981. So who are these people? Gen X and the millennials are at a busy time of life, from getting established in their careers, type in the chat if you can relate, to hitting their stride midlife. They're saving for retirement. They're supporting their growing families. They're taking care of elderly parents. They got a lot going on. Y'all, with the rise in healthcare costs, inflation throughout the economy, it's becoming more expensive to have children, let alone adding the financial burden of caring for one's own parents. Y'all, a lot of people are caught in this middle, and that's what they call the sandwich generation. In the broadest sense, the sandwich generation is caught in the middle generation, who are living with parents and children. More specifically, this term refers to middle-aged people who support both their parents and children. Now, we know some of these folks are also adding in their grown adult children. Let's just talk about that. That's a whole other conversation. But today on the show, I saw her do this post, and I was like, you know what? That's my topic. I'm calling my girlfriend. I am bringing up to the stage my good college girlfriend, 1 year apart. I graduated 1 year before she did. Artricia Moore Jenkins is coming to the show. We graduated way back when from Mills College together. Esquire, attorney at law, public defender. Don't mess around with Artricia. Delta Sigma Theta sorority, Sabrina, and Mama, taking good care of her daddy. Okay, good care. Amazing man in her life. I love you some CJ. And an amazing Christian woman, doing it all.
Yes,
and doing it all well.
thank you.
We're giving you a round of applause.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you, divas.
Excited. So we just, they didn't talk forever. So we just have a few minutes before we go to break though. And I want you just tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, how you hold it down, all you have on your plate, and let our tribe get to know my girlfriend that I call Trish. So how you doing, Trish?
All right. I'm doing all right, everybody. Hey, I'm gonna listen to the show from yesterday about keeping it hot and spicy. The husband will appreciate that while we are sandwiched. So, but I've been a criminal defense attorney for 24 years. I had my little miracle. Katrina's birthday was Sunday. He turned 12 years old, and he was a preemie, born 2 pounds 9 ounces, and with the grace of the Lord, he's healthy, he's thriving. He made honor roll twice during crazy COVID, so we are just blessed and thankful. And tomorrow is my 14th wedding anniversary, and I'm thankful and grateful for that too. So, being sandwiched is no joke. I'm busy with work. I'm busy at home. Son, we got him in math, karate, and my daddy just went to the hospital again for the 3rd time since January and got out on Monday. So I put out a post on Facebook like, pray for your friends who are sandwiched, because ladies, I was ready to drive to Napa and not come home. Napa State Hospital and Napa for the wineries, for y'all that don't know.
Wow.
It's a lot, but I have a very supportive husband. My dad's helper is great and supportive. And I have created a village of some of everybody. And Katrina's like, what do you do? I was like, my village, I use the village of my village. I pray on it. I get me helpers, and I stay in constant prayer, asking for guidance and health and strength. Because then I had my own medical issues last year, so so I know about being sandwiched, but I'm always looking for new ideas. When us ladies get together, we talk and we learn about new childcare or new books for the kids to learn. And so I was honored that Katrina thought of me, but it was just on point because I am sandwiched. My dad's been with us since we moved 8 years ago, but he's been sickly for the past 5 years, and he's on dialysis 3 days a week. And did I say he's 88?
I was waiting.
Right.
Yeah. So he's 88. He'll be 89 in November. So, child. So we're making it work, and I'm here to share. I'm here to learn, and then later on, I'm gonna learn how to be hot and spicy.
I love it. Currently, y'all listen to this. Currently, statistics show that 47% of adults in their 40s and 50s are supporting an aging parent in their 70s while also managing their kids. The typical American sandwich generation caregiver is female, in her mid 40s, married and employed. Listen to that. And as I said, also saving for her own retirement or saving for her own retirement. So we are going to just talk about this. Trish, we have a couple minutes before we go to break. Tell that one story, because we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about COVID, but COVID put a whole other twist on it. When you were telling me that story about all that's happening in the house and, you as an attorney, what it looks like in your house, just tell one of those funny stories about what that looked like.
It's been 18 years of homeschooling, more or less. And then my son was in 5th grade. And it was March when he was in 5th grade. And in California, you graduate to go to middle school. So we had remote learning. I'm working full time at that time from home, and in our guest room / office. And then my son knocks on the door because he's more independent now. But back then, I really needed to monitor the computer, and the Zoom went out. So he knows to knock and wait for an answer because I have confidential conversations with my clients over the Zoom. So he knocks and, he's frantic. The computer went out. So he kind of busts in, and I'm talking to my client. I'm like, I'm so sorry. My son is here. I'm homeschooling and I'm working. And the client understood. He was like, I know, I have kids too. He was unfortunately in custody at the time, but in his other life, he's home helping his
Uh-oh.
wife with their
I'm not sure what
children.
happened. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so that's been my life.
Wow.
On Sunday we're at my son's birthday party at Dave and Buster's, and I had 5 phone calls from Kaiser during the party. The final one was the doctor. After that happened, I was like, I'm done. I've been waiting for your call all afternoon. So
Wow.
you balance, and it's
You get it
always
in.
a give and take. I always tell new lawyers, people say, well, how do you balance? And it's fluid, is what I say. You have to keep it fluid. I'm kind of rigid with some things, but this sandwich lifestyle has made me be more fluid and more flexible, because you have to be spontaneous. You got to think off the top of your head. When my dad
Trish,
was
we're
in the
going to break.
hospital.
We're going to break now. And I want anyone who is sandwiched, okay? I see you, Janelle. I know you're going to call in 313-778-7600. Call in and we got issues. I think Gloria is going to visit with our Facebook audience. While we're on a commercial break, we're going to pay some bills. Thanks for listening. And we got issues.
Hey, Facebook, I hope you can hear me. You guys, seriously, how in the world did I miss the hottest topic? Okay, I missed the hot topic. I'm not supposed to be the one that missed the hot topic. I got a hint, because Crisette said that you have to send a text that only for his eyes. And my husband's been in Colombia, South America for like weeks. So I'm very excited that he's coming home. I'm just texting right now with my cousin, who's a big time doctor in California, a powerful anesthesiologist with a big office out there. And he is probably going to be able to be our guest tomorrow. So an informative, not just an opinionated discussion about the COVID as of tomorrow's date. So I truly hope we can go from what someone says is spicy to nicey today, and then what tomorrow would be. If it's spicy, nicey, and dicey. Ooh, let's do dicey tomorrow. That would be very interesting. So anyway, I'm very excited about this topic. Could you guys even just that first statistic that Caterina said, which was 47%? That just blew my mind. 47%, and most of them are women over 40 with a family and a job. Wow, that's really big. Like, that's really big. So I'm so glad you guys are with us, and don't forget to call in at 313-778-7600, because I'm watching to listen if we go back on. And you guys, this is the thing that's so interesting. Not only are we going to find out some information, not just about what we do, but maybe some advice as we share. So you might have a story, or you might know somebody who does it really well, and that would be great. And that would be like really great. So we'll tell some stories about the Garrett Giving situation. This is awesome. So I'm listening to the radio to make sure that we're not back on. And I hope you guys invited a girlfriend to join our tribe as we grow, because this is a great show. The information, the feedback has been, I think that's the music. I'm going back to station.
Back. I'm excited that you have called into We Got Issues. That you are listening into We Got Issues. And we're going to go to some callers. We have 3 callers that are on the line. I'm so excited. And so y'all all hang tight, because I want to get to every single one of y'all. And first up, I'm going to go to our girl. They went to high school together. We went to college together, and she was my college roommate, Danelda Carter. Are you there? Thanks for calling in. We Got Issues.
I am here. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing? community. Actually, Caterina, Artricia and I go way towards high school. I've actually known her and her dad since I was 9 years old. Wow. And she is an amazing wow. He is totally in control of his faculties, and I'm just really proud of the women that, the mentor who, is handling it all, taking care of him, and, he's still a really strong and proud man, and he's doing everything he can to take care of himself, but, and then, all the other things that sisters have to do to hold it down. So, glad to have her on your show. She certainly is the epitome of a family woman, but handling it with all kinds of grace and dignity.
Janelle, you just sent your daughter off to college, so you are holding it down also, okay? Attorney, super bad, busy, got a whole lot going on. Give us one tip. How do you keep it all together? How do you keep it all together?
Oh my gosh. A little prayer and Bible study. Stuff like this, talking to my friends, just keeping it real. You gotta have that, I think, that village and the people that you can be transparent and authentic with, and a whole lot of faith.
Awesome. I am so grateful that you listened in. You got to check out the show. Keep checking out the show because we keep it real up in here. And I love you, and I can't wait until we have our girlfriend spa day again together. Okay. Thanks for calling in. I'm going to go to the next caller. Thank you, callers, for hanging tight. We got Val on. Thanks for calling. We got issues, Val. Are you there?
I am. Good afternoon, ladies. First time. I had to come on this topic because I understand this sandwich generation. I am living it currently. And as I'm thinking about it, my experience probably started back in 2007 with the sudden loss of my dad, because my dad handled everything in the family. So my mom was a little lost, and so I had to fill in that role. My parents and I were raising my young niece at that time. And my father was the only male figure that my niece knew. And so it started from there. So fast forward to where we are today. I'm taking care of my 88-year-old grandmother who wanted to move to Detroit from Memphis 2 years ago. And we moved her and didn't think anything about it. My mom is there. I call them the Golden Girls. And my mom had an unfortunate fall last year that has really impacted her ability to be mobile and do all the things that she likes to do. And she's an artist, so she hasn't been able to be creative. And so just trying to digest it all, it has been something. I've been working from home, working remotely since the pandemic. And that niece that my parents and I were raising, she is still in the house with us. And now she's a mom herself. So it is a lot to digest. Whole lot. And it's a whole lot, ladies. And let me just tell you, I agree with the other callers that it's truly by the grace of God that I haven't pulled all my hair out. And unfortunately, with the pandemic, I haven't been able to do those getaways like I was before, like, taking a girls' trip or just taking some time away. But you have to find some time to pull away and regroup because it is a lot. It really is.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for being a listener to We Got Issues. We hope that you will continue to listen in daily. And thank you for calling in the first time. You added so much value. And it takes prayer, and we're going to keep you in prayer, okay? We're going to keep you in prayer. You're holding it down. You're giving hope to so many people. This multi-generational situation where you mentioned grandmother, not everyone is just taking care of parents, but it's even grandparents and grandchildren. So it kind of goes both ways, y'all. And so it's so real. I'm going to bring you in, Chris, just a moment. I'm going to go to one more caller. We got Our boy Marathon on the line. Marathon got issues on every issue. I love Marathon. I want to hear. Yesterday you was serenading her. The other day you was on the dance floor. What you got today, Marathon? What you got? Favorite topic you got issues?
I don't have any good news. I found out my mother's in the hospital. But here's the thing. My siblings didn't tell me. I found out through my cousin. And y'all know I don't have no secrets. So I'm calling them out on the radio.
Wow.
I'm going to say this one last thing because I'm very upset. I'm the firstborn. I'm the anointed one. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, we will keep you in prayer. Absolutely, we'll keep your mother in prayer and your siblings in prayer. I know that the news of her being in the hospital is hard in and of itself. And so, Marathon, we just know that you are a part of the tribe, and we really will keep you lifted up. Thank you for calling in today. And I am just praying that the next time you call in, we're going to have good news about your mama. So thank you for calling We Got Issues. Crisette.
Thank you. You've been caring for Dad. Your dad has been with you. The Green Girls hold it down and make it happen together. But can you talk about what it's like having your dad in the house and I mean, certainly your children are grown and can take care of themselves, but how do you keep it together?
Yeah. And again, Artricia, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing about, what goes on with the sandwich generation. Now, my dad has probably been living with me now, getting close to 10 years. And of course, my children are adults, so I'm not taking care of young children and my dad. And it kind of happened because my mom had a stroke, and the nursing home where she was at was closer to my house. And so I just told my dad, you know what, instead of you having to drive all the way from your house to the nursing home, come to my house. And we were really believing that my mom was going to recover and then she would go back and they would go back home. Well, long story short, she didn't. And he just never went back home. And I am so thankful. And you said, Artricia, that your husband is so supportive. And, I never asked Chuck, could my dad, come and stay over? Never told him he had moved in. I mean, it was just like, why would you ask me? Of course he can. And so it really does help when you have a supportive spouse. But I will say that, when he moved in initially, temporarily, we thought, he was driving, and my dad was always very gregarious, talking to everybody, never meets a stranger. And then I've just watched, as he's gotten older, some things that he's not able to do. But I will say I do have 4 sisters, one sister that lives in California, Judy. She is an avid listener to We Got Issues. And then my other 3 sisters live in the Detroit metropolitan area. And you know how we say it takes a tribe to raise children? Well, it absolutely, if you're blessed to have siblings, that can help you with your parent, because it can be taxing. And, I remember, we have worked out a system, but at the end of the day, the main caregiver still bears the burden of the stress, having just to make sure that they have their medicine, making sure that they have a bath, making sure that they eat. I mean, it's just a lot. And I remember calling my girlfriend, I called Sabrina, and I was like, ooh, I am having a come apart. I mean, it was just like one day, it just felt like it was all on me. And so, we talked, and I said, I'm just going to have to communicate, with my sisters that I need more help. And I think sometimes when you're the main caregiver, you have to communicate, because sometimes you think, well, people should know. They need to know that they should help out more and you need more time. But what I have learned is that if you don't tell people, people don't just assume that you need help. And I'm going to tell you, it made all the difference in the world when I literally, we had a family meeting, and I told them, I said, listen, I need more help. And I have to, give my sisters a pat on the back. because they
Yes.
stepped in and said, what do you need?
Mhm.
And I'm gonna tell you, this system has worked out so great. So it's interesting. It can be stressful, but many of you know I post about my dad. There has been some hilarious things that have taken place here, with my dad. So you know what? He'll be 94 in October.
Yes.
And you know what? Times
Oh,
are
wow.
precious. And so I appreciate, the time that I've had to be with my dad. And it's so funny. And then I'll pass it on. When my sisters come and pick him up, he'll turn back and he'll look at me and he'll say, Chris, thank you for your hospitality. And my sister look at him. She'll look at him and say, Daddy, now you do know you're going back, right? You do know you're going back. So, I mean, it is a joy to have him at our house. So, Caterina, back to you.
Yes. So I wanted to ask you, Trish, to talk about, of course, we know in our case, being an only child, I got to handle this and hold it down. Talk about your village, and then talk about how you take me time, because you ain't playing with getting a massage. You ain't playing with some me time. Okay, so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, just going back, it is a blessing. And Crisette, like you, I have two sisters. Well, I have one now. And my older sister passed 2 years ago, but I reached out to her and I would fly her out to the house from Memphis so my family and I could go on vacation. One year she said, well, why don't I come out and cook Thanksgiving dinner for you all? Because she knew I was busy at work. So she passed, but then my younger sister, who was not that involved, stepped up. So she came up so that we could get away briefly a couple months ago. And it's so important. But someone said, how do you regroup and get me time? You have to. And I got sick last year and I was trying to hold on till my vacation came. And my vacation turned into a sick leave because when you take on so much, I remember just being in a doctor's office. I was the first of my friends to care for a parent. I didn't know what questions to ask. And then so I started reaching out to sorors and friends who were taking care of elderly parents, and to the doctors. And then AARP is a great resource, believe it or not. When the rehab center was trying to get my dad out too soon, and I appealed it. I was like, no, he's not coming home because he's fallen twice since he came back from Kaiser the last time. You have to be an advocate, and I'm an advocate for life. So, I'm an advocate for work. I'm an advocate for my family. So I'm like, you have to put your foot down also when you're dealing with these institutions and reach out. But someone wrote in saying that you need your me time, and you do. And it doesn't have to be going far. There's a park I love to go take a walk and get to the top of the hill and look down and sit and listen to my gospel music and just zone out and just be with me. I mean, if it's going to get a manicure, pedicure, since things have opened back up, and if it's going to get a massage, because I learned that if I don't take care of me, who's going to take care of everybody else?
That's right.
And we forget that because we put ourselves last so often. Like, I'll make doctor's appointments for everybody, and here I am in pain and still going to work. And then finally my body is like, nope, you're going to have to sit down for a few months. And that happened, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was so afraid and praying and crying, and it took me 6 weeks to get diagnoses. And so I'm working part-time now because I'm still having some issues, and people look at you, but my stuff is internal, and we can look good and put on the face and the hair and the makeup, and we stress the hell out. But and that's why when I put my post on, normally I'm private, but I just felt like reaching out, and it was nice to get affirmations and support and people praying, because one of my co-workers, my husband's niece lived with us. I actually, at one point too, she lived with us from 16 to almost 20, and my baby was 6. So I didn't know what it was like having a teenage girl. So one co-worker said, well, you just make it look so effortless. But I'm like, inside, girl, I'm stressed out. I'm anxious. Your hair start coming out, and you start gaining the weight, and my blood pressure went up. And I was like, whoo. So now I make sure I take my me time. When I don't, my body lets me know. When I get off track with my eating and my diet and my working out, my body lets me know. And we have to listen to our bodies, because I wasn't, and mine stopped me in my tracks. And I remember friends said, well, you got to get
So
better
good.
because you have a lot of people you take care of. And I was like, yeah, I know. In addition to my clients, so it's like, and therapy, get you a good therapist. It's good to talk to your girlfriends, but as caregivers, as Black folks, we need to turn to some psychologists or some psychiatrists also.
Say it.
And
We need it.
it makes a world of difference, and they give you a different perspective. So when I start with my negative thinking, I go back and do my steps that my therapist taught me, because we could go from 0 to negative real soon, worst case scenario, but don't go there. You got to work the steps. And one friend said, expect the best. So I've tried to start adopting that more, but you got to make the me time. And then my sister-in-law moved, and she used to take care of my son, and we get a little date night, me and my husband. And that was before my my dad got so ill. But if you're married, make your date nights, even if it's during the day. I remember my husband was off, and we went out for lunch, instead of dinner. You got to kind of like think out the box and get creative. And actually, Crisette, my husband, when we moved, said maybe your dad should move with us because he saw something I didn't see. And my husband's from North Carolina, and he grew up with his maternal grandmother living with them. Now, I'm from LA, and my grandparents, when they got older, my granddad went to a convalescent home, and then my grandma was still independent. So I didn't grow up seeing the grandparent come into the home, but my husband did.
Wow.
And so my husband talked about it with my dad, and my dad said, well, talk to Tricia about it. So, I was like, well, yeah, sure. Yeah, but at that time he was driving, he was, dating and going out to restaurants, and over time his health went down. And now, people would say, is your dad helping you with your son? I said, no, my son helps me with my dad. But they have the cutest relationship, and they'll watch the ball game together and cartoons and talk sports. And when my dad's in the hospital, my son's like, I miss Poppy. When is he coming home? And my dad, while he was in the hospital, was just so adamant on making sure that my son got his birthday gift from him while he was in the hospital. I was like, Dad, I got it covered. I bought a card for you. It's done. It's handled. I put the money in there, So it's a blessing seeing that relationship between them. And just knowing that my dad is rushing from the hospital to come home because he has something to come home to. And I know that's why he's rushing home. But I'm like, sometimes you can't rush. You got to make sure that you're healthy enough, and don't tell the doctors what you think they want to hear, because if you get home and you can't get yourself up off the bed, then we're having a hard time, So it's a lot. Yes.
I want to share, a couple things I want to share. On August 30th, the Alzheimer's Association is hosting a free virtual education program called The Sandwich Generation, Taking Care of Aging Parents While Raising Children. And so if anybody really wants to seek some help, the Alzheimer's Association is also a good resource. Their phone number is 1-800-272-3900, 1-800-272-3900. And I want to ask you, Gloria, and then I'm going to share these 6 tips. But certainly we love Mama Hilliard. We loved seeing her whenever she was with you. And so can you just talk about, I know you and your sisters teamed up big time as you cared for your mom. Give us some tips on how you did that.
Yeah, Caterina, thank you for that. And Artricia, thank you so much for being on the show. Artricia, this is so exciting to get to know you, your background, and how you've done it. You've leaned in so well. Our situation was, I think every family situation is very different. I'm third of 4 girls, and we all live in different cities. One lives in Detroit, one lives in Chicago. I live in the Baltimore area. My sister lives in New York. And so when it first started with both my parents, and I owned an extra home in Florida, and so they started living in Florida. And the way that it worked for us is that we shared the responsibilities, and they always had help. Help was so important. I don't know how in the world we could have made this happen without somebody that's there in Florida with them. And then when my dad passed, because they would go back and forth, and then it ended up that they would travel from all four of us. And then it started the three of us. And then it was just the two of us because of how much she could take. So she would spend 4 to 5 months with me in Baltimore when the weather was too much for her in New York. And my sister would have her in New York, and she had young children. So she was the one who had the kids at home and everything. But if I were to say a tip for us that made a difference is, number one, we had a phenomenal woman who became part of our family. And I know it must be even a bigger struggle with COVID right now, but she was amazing. And we went through several. My mother was not easy. She didn't want no help. She didn't want to give up her car when it was time to do that. Those are all pieces that can be a part of it.
Yes.
Yes. And the other part was we always tried to get to New York. If my sister had my mom, we all just were intentional about getting there, just getting there, because the housekeeper needed a break and my sister needed a break so that they could have me time. And then the break was when we would come all in. It'd be a big party because my mother was like that. So we would bring her the energy that she gave us for so many years. So that was a big part. I'd say help was a big part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to share these 6 tips for surviving the sandwich generation years. Number 1 is be proactive. Be proactive. Everyone's talked about that. Number 2 is choose retirement over college savings. This is another tip. It's important that you're able to take care of yourself. We're blessed when you have the resources to be able to do both, but this is what this article recommends. Number 3 is don't hide your personal responsibilities from your employer. Certainly, you talked about that, Tricia, during COVID. It's gotten real working from home. Number 4, if children return home, make them contribute. Okay. Have them contribute. Number 5 is maintain your emergency fund at all costs. And number 6, like you said, Chris, involve your siblings. So Sabrina, wise on all things. And, we sit here as the, on the other end is the alternative. My father left in a day. I didn't have any time to say goodbye to him. So as challenging as it is, when you're sitting where we have sat, where we are, missing parents, boy, oh boy, oh boy. I know it's just challenging. We give a shout out to those of you that are taking care of and extending the life, literally extending the life of your parents, of your grandparents, by giving them a healthy, safe, positive environment to be in and someone who loves them. We know caregivers and hospital workers do the best they can, but there's nothing like somebody who is in your bloodline. So Sabrina, what can you add to the conversation?
I think it's a great conversation. So blessed to have parents that you have the blessing to take care of. You're a blessing to have the blessing. And so shout out to girlfriends out there and guy friends who have parents that they get to take care of, even though I know it's hard. Oh my goodness, what I would do to have my parents here to be able to take care of right now. But I was looking at each one of you, and we're blessed to have resources. We're blessed to be able to hire the help needed, necessary. You're blessed with family members who have the good sense to say, I want to help. That's the right thing to do. But we also know that in the real world, because we keep it real on We Got Issues, there are some families, the family members don't take their part. They don't do their part. And quite honestly, they don't have the extra funds to hire the help. And so I think it's important that you plug into the community resources that are out there. I think it's important that you're brave enough to ask for the help with family and friends who will come and sit to give you a break. There are some really good people out there, but you have to be bold enough, brave enough, bodacious enough, courageous enough to say, look, I need some help without feeling guilty about it. And so I know I was looking at some of the Facebook feed, and people, one of our listeners said, you know what, I feel stuck because I don't have an outlet. I feel stuck. And so we want to encourage every caretaker to find a way to make it better. And so, Artricia, you've been amazing with your advice, with your stories. You've been a really the gold star in terms of saying you've got to take a break.
Thank you.
Because if you're not good,
Yes.
you cannot be good for the people you're caring for.
Exactly.
So
yes.
that's what I have to add. I don't know who to go to next,
Yes.
Caterina.
I mean, this is just so good. I want to let you know that there are resources, you guys. There are resources out there. There are legal things you could do. I know in the case of a family member who was a paid caregiver. So there are resources out there where people actually, depending on I don't know how it all works, but look into those resources where you can even be a paid caregiver, or someone who is close to the family can be a paid caregiver.
Caterina, there was a law recently passed in most states that if you're a caregiver, you can get like $600 per month maybe, or per quarter. But look into your state legislation, because there is definitely all over the country a legislation that was just passed. Yes, Artricia, what's
Trish,
that?
what do you
Yeah,
do?
you have something?
Well, what I wanted to add though is, unfortunately, if you do have a pension, like my dad worked for 30 plus years for the city of LA, he didn't qualify for some benefits because he had retirement. And even though it's not a lot, but he's able to afford the caregiver that comes to the house, but he didn't qualify for the caregiver part, like where you go through the state or some other type of program. So people always said, oh, you qualify for this program. So I want to say, be sure you do your own independent research. Because you get folks are like, oh, the Army will do X, Y, and Z. The Army doesn't do anything to help my dad because he wasn't injured while in the military. So it's all these things I found out about, once I started needing help. But luckily, our caregiver used to take care of a friend's mom, and that's how I found her. And she's been like family. She's been with us 5 years. And then when we need additional help, one of her friends will come and be with dad. But I mentioned AARP because they do more than what people think. They're a great resource. I needed to research an attorney that handles senior matters, and they had a referral list for me to go to. So always start with AARP also, and there's a group I know in the Bay Area called the Gray Panthers that provide support for seniors. And sometimes your hospital social worker might be able to assist. I haven't had that happen, but I'm told that they should be able to assist. And then your resources, back in the day, we always would turn to the church for help. I still say do that, because you'd be surprised what occupations people have or who people know, as far as getting someone to come and care for your loved one.
Absolutely. And go ahead, Chris.
Wow.
Yes.
Chris, unmute on StreamYard for us.
I was saying I have someone at the church who takes my dad to his doctor's appointments. And I mean, she loves the time that she spends with him. He absolutely loves her. Sometimes he calls my younger sister her name, and she's like, what's up on that? You calling me Brenda? But it really does. It really does make a difference that, she makes the appointments, and I let her make the appointment at a time that's good for her. And of course, we don't abuse that. We make sure, that she's compensated for doing that. But There are people out there that love seniors.
Yes.
You guys, many of you have seen my hairstylist, Rodney. Rodney is absolutely a godsend. He absolutely adores my dad. He'll come and pick him up and spend a full day. And I'll say, Rodney, it is past his bedtime. Can you bring my dad home? So, there are people that absolutely, you just gotta ask. And you know, the Bible says you have not because you ask not. So I'm always asking, always.
And people that want a parent, you know, that value a parent, and that what that means, that maybe didn't have that themselves. Go ahead, Gloria.
You know, I was just going to add that to the point about siblings and friends, that a lot of times we assume that the person who's taking care of the parent is good. Like they're good, they're fine because they say they're fine, or they act like they're fine. But you really have to lean in and ask them, is there something else I can do? And you got to really watch. You only see a little bit of it. And I think that when you're not literally living with them, there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that you have no clue. You don't know how much earlier the family has to get up. You don't have much more juggling they have to do because they're not living with you. You don't know the conversation, that constant conversation, asking questions, especially when dementia sets in or anything like that sets in. You know, they're asking questions all the time. And so I think that sometimes we look at what people are doing and we feel they're okay, so we don't say anything. But I just wanted to put word out that siblings and neighbors and friends, you know, it does make a difference when they come and sit on the porch with them for 2 or 3 hours and it's just the listening ear. I mean, it really does make a difference. Yes.
Mardis said on the Facebook group, my mom refuses to leave her home. When that time comes, we will need to hire private assistance. She's 94 and still lives alone. She doesn't qualify for free assistance due to income. And we know that there are lots of folks out there who perhaps would love for their parent to live with them, but for whatever reason, they are just not wanting to. And we've also heard stories that for some that does help them to live longer, to stay in their own home. So y'all, we just appreciate you. I want to tell you that not only is there the sandwich generation, y'all, but there's another generation called the club sandwich generation. That's the 50s and 60s. They even got the open face sandwich generation. I mean, I'm telling you, 70% of women and only 30% of men will adopt the responsibility of care for an elderly relative and perhaps even one with a chronic health illness in their lifetime. So I'm going to leave y'all with these couple things. Be gracious to yourself. You are the only person and you're doing great. I want to add, take care of yourself so that as we age, we don't have to be a financial burden on others. Don't feel guilty about saying no. Know your limits. You know your limits best. Chris, you said that well. Celebrate every win, no matter how small. Give yourself the credit and reward yourself. And then I want to encourage you to make sure you seek and get help, the nonprofit help that's out there, get the advice, the legal help that is available out there for you. I want to remind you again, August 30th, the Alzheimer's Association with this free virtual education program. You can call them at 1-800-272-3900. Yesterday, we taught you how to keep it hot, and today we taught you how to handle it at home. But you know what? Go on and keep it hot, even while daddy's in one room and the kids in another room, because it is necessary. Mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, okay? Thanks for listening to We Got Issues on Winning Wednesday. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye, Facebook. Bye. We Got Issues on the radio.
Thank you.